in excess of 28,500 allocation. And these will transition in terms of occupancy is a period of 2 years, and we start from 65%, and in 3 years we get up to as close as 70%. In some areas, within the first year and a half, we can get up to 55%. An example is the new Eccles. The total subsidy with the home and the land, we have been able to give $2.2 million subsidy for the house and the land. So instead of having a $900,000 subsidy, we're able to deliver a house and land for $4.5 million with a subsidy of in excess of $2 million.
Okay, Country Minister, I would like just like to separate these two things. First of all, let's deal with the house lots, then we deal with the house lots and the houses of them. So the Honorable Minister indicated, since you took us to Eccles and the low-income houses of Eccles, the house lots there, what is the criteria that the ministry has used to determine the cost of these low-income house lots, and whether in fact there is a report of an independent quantity surveyor or someone of that skill set that would indicate that the price that you are charging out is fair and reasonable?
Honourable member, through the chair, I wish to show you that the prices is beyond reasonable, to the extent that the private sector accuses the authority of setting prices that is inhibitive to the growth and development of their business based on the price they're setting. But let me say to you that, in our opinion, we have a technical committee that includes surveyor, economists, financial experts, the permanent secretary, the director of operations, who would sit and calculate the differential values in terms of the different stratification and costing of the house lot. Using the same example you give, we were able to do the houses in that area for $4.5 million, which the low-income persons now are demanding. They prefer to go towards the home ownership and get the land and the house for that price. So we had the low income, we had the low income with the house and the land. We had loss from 200,000 to 1.2. In addition to that, the qualification for the different stratification is based on the information submitted at the time of application. For someone to qualify for a low-income house lot, once they meet the criteria of earning less than $60,000 per month, with at least one child below 21 years old, that person qualifies for a low-income house lot. That is the qualification that has been accepted, the qualification criteria that has been developed in collaboration with the EU Low-Income Program and the IDP Low-Income Program.
Has this criteria been tested in rural, in poor or challenged communities? This criteria about one child, $60,000 minimum, and all these things, was it tested? At least one child, $60,000, because we recognize here that you have people in the government ministries that are working for sometimes $35,000 and $40,000 still. So how do we get to that, Minister?
Mr. Chair, this criteria has been tested, tried, and very successful. Let me also say this now. We have a difference in the low-income area. We don't want to go there. We prefer you to qualify us for a low middle income house lot or the moderate income. And that is what is creating a big backlog for us now. Because persons are now coming to us with a demand for low income into the low middle income. And this is something the honorable member is fully aware of.
Well, I thank you. I am not there all the time. I have low income. The honorable minister, you've spoken about the low income. Yeah, I'm trying to get the minister's attention.
You have it, total, thank you.
You have spoken about the $4.5 million houses at the low income.
As
The
one,
Honorable Minister, this is the low income,
yeah.
Would the Honorable Minister state whether the persons, the contractors in this project, who are the contractors and whether there's been a public tendering for this?
All the contractors are required through a public procurement process, and there are how many? Five? We have Ivor Allen, Cutting Edge, Sharp and Sons, Zaffarelli, and Four. You can look us up with the list. No, Zaffarelli.
Minister, is there at the level of the CHPA some level of supervision?
Mr. Chair, we do have persons assigned to the supervision of this work, and such supervision is done also alongside the banking supervision. So yes, we do. I'm trying to get the salary. The salary will be the salary of the salary is approximately $258,000 to $263,000.
And these are employees of the CHPA.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Rambutan?
Yes, Honorable Minister, I noticed that you have a capacity to get some earnings. This year you project 73 million. What is it that you are services and goods that is sold there to that? This is 615, page 615. And revenue from operations, sale of goods and services, $73 million. You have a capacity to make some income. What are the goods and services you sell?
Mr. Chair, at a subsidized rate, we have the transport fees, the survey fees, building approval, because remember Central Housing and Planning Authority also approves plan, and there is the fee that is paid for the approval of plans and buildings, and the application fees.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, the Honourable Minister say whether upon an application there is a legal fee charged to the person applying or a recipient of it, and how much if there is such a fee?
There is a, honorable member, there is a legal fee for the transport, not for the application.
How much is
$8,000.
And may I ask very quickly, as of course, would the CHPA pay the registrar a fee for the events of transport?
Chair, we don't pay any fees to the registrar.
So then, if I get the Honourable Minister right, in the last 5 years, if you have prosecuted 25,500 house lots, 8,500, that should give you $228 million. My good and learned friend, Mr. Rambutan, just asked in terms of our revenue. The $73 million would that be part of this revenue earned by this ministry, this agency? Because I have roughly $228 million in the last 5 years alone.
Mr. Chair, the honorable member is not subtracting the cost. not a revenue generating thing.
If it's not paid to the registrar, is there a fixed fee that is payable, say, to the lawyer? I understand the minister said, well, I don't want to respond, but there was a minister. I helped the minister tell me $1,500 per transaction. I mean, I volunteer. It's not $250,000 in cases where their own institutional lawyers fail. I helped him.
I don't know.
Yeah. And,
Good to know that you help.
yeah, for the paperwork. So I worked almost pro bono, sir. And you can verify that. So I'm not like Mr. Landau and them. The other day we were talking about a firm getting $25 million a month, a year. But be that as it may, what I'm trying to ask is, we are talking about the expense. If a person comes, okay, in Qatar, getting a $700,000 house lot, pays $8,000. Registrar is not taking any of that. Where is the $8,000 of this income going?
I think what mentions that there's an opportunity cost. But maybe you need to disaggregate and say exactly what happens with this.
Honorable Chair, I can endeavor to give the full breakdown.
But I think you could give an idea. I mean, you may give a detailed breakdown to the member, but certainly the house is entitled to an idea.
The majority of this fee goes towards the lawyer. And we have many lawyers who have worked with us over
1 minute.
period.
I don't know whether the other lawyers want to object, but that didn't sound too nice. The majority goes to the lawyer.
The majority of the
Could
fees,
someone please?
the greater percentage of the fees goes to the lawyer.
And then go ahead.
But of course, Mr. Speaker, we have the very nationalistic lawyers. Now let's take, for example, the honorable member with Shadi, who has never charged us a cent for the processing of any transaction. Mr. Nagabudu, who charged $2,500. You have some lawyers who charge $3,000 and some who go as high as $5,000.
Ms. Ferguson, I know it's meeting this.
Mr. Chair, I wish to ask a follow-up on this low-income housing program, the 4.5 million. Honorable Minister, I'm trying to work out. A low-income person comes to you, but you give them a mortgage for $2 million. What's your subsidy? What form of subsidy?
Yes, honorable member. The cost of developing the land, the actual cost of developing the land is approximately $1.2 million per lot. Then develop the land. That is to clear the land, putting the drainage, the road, the water, the electricity. Right? It comes up to approximately 1.2 per lot. The cost, the market cost of building the house comes up to $5.6 million. The total cost for the two, using the actual cost for the two is $6.8 million. And we charge for the land, the house and land, $4.5 million. Which is a difference of $2.2 million.
All right, I understand what I'm trying to find out. Did you guess that?
No, honorable member, if I may go before. Is the equity value of the property is $6.8 million. So if the individual is going to the bank for a loan, the bank would hold the property at its equity value of $6.8 million, which has a lot of other benefits for the law.
Yes, but how much do they get from the bank? What do they have to raise for themselves?
That's a relative question. Depends on how much, depends on that, Mr. Chair. How much they pay down, 20%, 25%. Depends on the age of the poorest, because the duration of the loan, a lot of relative.
Good. So you can answer my question then. How many persons are in that program?
In this program so far, we have in excess of 350 persons. And that is defined in the program. We have more than 1,000 persons who are waiting to get into that program, who came in to us and said, listen, we don't want the land, we want to get into this program.
You don't want the land?
They don't want just the land, they want to get the house.
Honorable Minister, you've given us the $8,000 cost and what how it is subsidized. Would you tell us what happens to the actual sum of money that a citizen pays for the house lot? The 500,000, the 700,000, the 900,000, where does that money go?
Mr. Chair, first of all, this resource is used to supplement the budgetary allocation here to provide the service lots and the services we have to provide.
The question is where does the money go?
Into the housing fund. All the resources goes into the housing fund. But I want to say this to the Honorable House too, that our policy is to complete final infrastructure on 75% occupancy. I just mentioned that in most of the cases we get up to 75% occupancy in 3 years. So you may have $1 billion, but in actual fact, a great percentage of that billion has to be earmarked for the completion of the infrastructure 3 years from now.
Minister, is this housing fund audited by the Auditor General? And if so, when last was it audited?
Mr. Chair, I'm pleased to report that the housing fund is audited and it is an agency of exceptional performance. It has been submitted to the National Assembly.
Who does the auditing? Who does the auditing?
Within the constitutional method.
You do the auditing or
The Auditor General.
Okay, well, no, this is an exceptional performance.
Yeah.
I don't know whether he's quoting or whether he's giving his opinion. The Auditor General.
The opinion of the auditors.
Finally, Mr. Chairman, I'm trying to find out for the low income, Mr. Chairman, Honorable Minister. Well, what is the rate of attrition? Do these people hold on to these properties indefinitely or after a year they come out and the council stay? What is the situation over there?
We have not had any significant cases of people begging out. We also have not had any significant cases of foreclosure. For a matter of fact, the banking sector will tell you that the best performing loans within their portfolio are the low income, low middle income, and the middle income.
Really? All right.
Wow.
That's not how I understand.
Honorable Minister, earlier you indicated that the subsidy that you're asking for, the $150 million, is to cover about 60% of your salary. Is that correct? 66%? Yes. So I refer you to page 615 of these estimates, please, Honorable Minister. And whether you can provide some explanations. Page 615. Where on the wages and salaries, you have an actual amount of $154,578,000 for 2011, budgeted for 2012, 154,578, the same amount, revised to 12, 194,414, and budgeted for 13, 177,378. Those are your figures. And you continue to ask for $150,000 as set over the last 4 years. Is there any reason for that?
The question is, what percentage? Wait. I'm gone.
So if you say that this is an average reflection of what the situation is.
Yes, yes. All right.
I'm gonna have Ms. Ferguson and then Ms. Marino.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. On page 650, I've noticed under the heading, other goods and services purchased. In 2012, the sum of 25.808 was spent. However, I recognize in 2030, you're asking for a lesser amount. Can the Honorable Minister explain why the increase in 2012 and why is it that you're asking for a lesser amount in 2030? My other question to you, Honorable Minister, can you explain to this Honorable House, at the time of application for house lots, right?
Is the next question?
Yes, it's two questions I need you to address here, right? Can you explain the time span between application and the processing of these applications and the acquisition of the house lots? Once the persons would have paid off their monies, right? Another question too, sir.
Our members, I think maybe we allow them, you've posed two. Allow minister to answer the two and then we go to the third.
Okay.
Honorable, Mr. Chair, Honorable Member, the increase last year was a direct result of additional security services and sanitary facilities that was required for the revolving homes that were constructed in the areas we just spoke of, Eccles and the Providence for selling areas. The other question was in relation to the time frame for the processing of application. Different region is basically demand and supply. And different regions, we are different years in different regions. For example, region 3 and 4 is the regions we have the greatest demand. And right now we are processing applications closing off 2009. We have recently placed an ad in the newspaper for any applicant who have applied before 2006 to come in so that we can close those off. And we are at 2000, closing off 2009 and 2010. We have started 2010. In some other regions, like for example, region 2, we are 2011. In region 5, we are 2011. Region 6, we are 2010. Region 10, we are 2010. We are now closing off 2010. And we're moving, we're trying to get land to move forward in region 10 also. One of the major difficulties we have in region 4, why we are still at 2009 and 10, is that there's a large number of applicants who do not want to remove from the East Coast. And we have a complexity because we're not in a position to acquire land along the East Coast corridor to expand the housing program. And as a result, there are some persons who may have an old application but refuse to process that application for a Region 3 or East Bank, for example. So that is some of the situations that confront us as a ministry.
Ms. Ferguson?
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. My other question to you is, why is it that residents in South and Moore, right? South and Moore, persons who have lot are made to pay the same amount of money for of those who would have acquired a larger dimension in house lot. Let's say, for instance, a resident in South Elmore, a family has a house lot of, let's say, 30 by 10. He or she is made to pay 100,000. One has 40 by 100. They're made to pay the same 100,000. Can you explain the reason for this?
Mr. Chair, honorable member, if I may, humbly request that a specific case comes to us. It's very hard for me to answer a case like that. I'll give you an example. An honorable member raised sometime last year of a teacher in Region 10 who got a 300,000 house lot, and in the honorable member opinion, the teacher was qualified for a 100,000 house lot.
Takes so long. They have to live there. They can't take out a loan and pay rent and mortgage at the same time. So I think we should really do something about roads, water, and like when we give people these houses.
Honorable member, Mr. Chair, the specific area we're talking about falls on the farm society. And we're having a lot of difficulties with a number of farms who would have received resources from the allottees, and they were supposed to use those resources for infrastructure development and so on. And I think the Minister of Labor is looking at some of these issues in relation to the farm. But the specific issue that you're speaking about is in the farm.
Our member, Mr. Yes, sir.
Sir, Honorable Minister, if you look at page 659 for February, in fact, when we added up all that was given to this CHP last year, your budget was for 2.3 billion. We approved some additional sums of money which took it to $3.8 billion almost. And yet at the end of the year, you had a deficit of $102 million. Could you indicate to this House what was the impact of that shortfall on the programs of the CHP for 2012?
Mr. Chair, the deficit that the honorable member is alluding to is a deficit under the current expenditure. And this is a deficit that is covered by CHP. This is the operational cost deficit that is covered by the CHP.
So what impact did it have on the operation of the agency?
It would not have had an impact because the deficit was covered by resources under the CHP.
One member that like to put it, sorry. One member.
Mr. Chairman, I wonder if I might continue maybe on this very interesting matter of low commitments, which the Minister was kind enough to elaborate for us. And I listened with rapt attention to his exposition of how well this has unfolded. I would like to ask whether he can give us an indication. Thank you. When he can give us an indication, as of now, of the total low-income house lots that have been distributed, and the proportion of those that have had the beneficiaries construct something on them.
Mr. Chair, honorable member, I'm advised that application up to often including 2011, we would have had an occupancy rate of approximately 65% in total across the country.
I'm not sure as to the meaning of this term occupancy rate. In what sense do you use this term?
People building and occupying the lot in their rooms.
You are saying that your analysis shows that 60% of the persons, 65% of the persons in the low-income category receiving house lots have built houses on that. Because, okay.
I was speaking generally about all allocation. All allocation up to including 2011, approximately 65%. That's what I got. In terms of the breakdown, I can endeavor to deliver that information.
Because I do recall seeing a somewhat different figure from the Ministry of Housing 2 years ago. But let me just draw to your attention that the IDB, which I believe has helped you with sites and services in the past, referring to the first program that they funded, did, I'm trying to quote so that I don't misrepresent it, only half of the allocated lots had been occupied due to incomplete site and services infrastructure, limited access to financing for sanitary services, and construction and lack of stakeholder participation in project development. This is just the first IDP project. I believe you had two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, honorable member, this is indeed the 2007 under the LIS 1 program. Under the LIS 2 program, you'll be happy to see the report speaking to a significant improvement, not only in occupancy, but also in the delivery of infrastructure and services.
But I thank the minister, but I just like to stress how important it is to try to make sure the reports are balanced. And also how important it is for the minister himself to appreciate that there are specific handicaps that the low-income groups may face, even apart from the inadequacy of infrastructure. Because when I looked at the report of housing, it itself pointed to the difficulty. If you're earning $35,000 or $32,000 a month, it's hard to really get a mortgage with which to fund. So whilst I think one can be appreciative of the good work that Central Housing and Planning Authority has done and the stress on which they work, I think we must urge that a more balanced presentation be made so that you can get not only the finance minister support, but the support of the House in understanding what challenges you face and be more accommodating in providing the resources and support. Thank you.
Honourable members, I'd like to put a question, and that is that we approve the sum stated in the estimates of the current expenditures for the Ministry of Housing and Water, Program 451, Housing and Water. Those in favour say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Thank you. These are part of the estimates. Please turn your attention to pages 437 and 438 as I propose your consideration the capital expenditures for Program 451, Housing and Water. Minister of Housing and Water. Questions? Honourable Member Harman. Honourable Member Barker. Honourable Member Adams. And then Mr. Sewell.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Line item 1402500. Mr. Chairman, through you, could the Honourable Minister be kind enough to list the communities that will benefit from this plan? Or if it's too lengthy, you can have that deal over.
Mr. Chair, these are multi-year contracts. We had this over last year, and I'm willing to be on this over. It's a very long list, very, very long.
Very good. Honourable Mr. Adams continues, and then Mr. Sewell, then you come to
190,900. Would the Honourable Minister say if all the roads in Westminster, would be rehabilitated under this program? and if the roads in Tushin and the Corny Island housing scheme.
Tell you about the significant improvement we had in Parkway Park after last year. There is still a lot of roads that should be that will have to be done. In Westminster, for example, we're doing 3 roads, and the estimated cost is approximately $75 million. Last year, 2 for the 3 roads, 3 of the main roads, and we have done some work in Tushin, a lot of work in Tushin also, and so those are the works that we're undergoing at the moment.
I understand what I've been there, in fact, this is quite correct, as far as the main roads, but it is the blocking roads, or you call them the roads in between, the connected roads. Those are the problems, and in fact, Westminster, we know, is a very big community, and it continues to expand. And I'm sure that the minister, since this is also a political area, we want to see some additional work being done.
Mr. Chair, honorable member, for this minister all can let me say this. I'm very happy that the honorable member recognized that the area is expanding and growing. And it's also growing in terms of occupancy, right? To answer the question of occupancy and how occupancy is growing. And definitely, we're now, the field exercises ongoing at the moment to get those roads where the occupancy is 7 to 75%, so we can develop that master list for the next tranche of the system.
Honorable Ms. Kissoon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Minister, line item 6800800. Sorry. How much money is allocated for Ituli and how much for Rockstone?
Mr. Chair, honorable member, 8.3 million for Ituli and 13.5 million for Roxbury.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Line item 2801,000. Could the Honorable Minister lay over in writing the estimated cost for each area under this?
Mr. Chair, honorable member, last year we submitted the total project document for the Linen Water. You will recall that. And I have no objection in resubmitting that document to the honorable House.
Ms. Kissoon, please proceed.
2801,500. Could the Honorable Minister describe in clear, unambiguous language the types of works for each item listed on the list area? I know it's still listed here, but it's still not clear.
Mr. Chair, honorable member, in the full project description that you require, that will be resubmitted to this honorable House, that full description would be there. Would you still like me to read through the full description now?
Honorable member, Harman, go ahead, please.
Chairman, through the minister, could the honorable minister indicate under item 190-0900 whether there has been any sum set aside here for the regularization of squatter settlements?
some allocations set aside for regularization. We had 216 spot settlements. We have been able to regularize 171 of those. We have now completed Cane Grove. We're doing the infrastructure in Cane Grove there also. And we have approximately 17 of the spotting areas within the 260 that cannot be regularized. And we have another around 20 that are considered within zero tolerance zone. That is on grade reserve and so on. So what we have to do in those areas is work on a relocation plan, which is an ongoing process. And the honorable member is aware that we are indeed colliding our interests in a number of these areas.